השם. גל בזמן.
כמה פספסתי?
לא פספס, עכשיו דיברנו על עכשיו הסוכות.
עוד לא אמרנו מילה אחת, בדיוק בא לנו.
איזה כיף, ברוך השם.
שבי מן.
אוקיי.
So right now we are in Aserat Yom Teshuvah, the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah, the days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Shabbat that was passed to Shabbat Teshuvah, and now there's the days left until Yom Kippur, so these are the days that we have to do Teshuvah. Last year we talked about, in these days we talked about how we do Teshuvah. I don't know how many people were here, but we explained the concept of Teshuvah in a different way than normally explained. It's a perspective that's much deeper to see how Teshuvah. We're not going to talk about it today, but we're going to talk about what kind of Teshuvah is expected from us in this generation. In most of the generations, well, in every generation it's expected, but throughout the generations, this is not the way that Teshuvah was done. So the Teshuvah that's supposed to be done today is a much, much higher Teshuvah.
Like on Facebook, for example.
What's the matter?
So on Facebook you said, I'm sorry.
doesn't matter.
No, we're not talking about even Teshuvah ben adam lechavero. We're talking about a much higher level of Teshuvah, and we'll see why. This generation is actually nicknamed by most of the leaders of the generation of Teshuvah. There was no generation like ours in all of history.
For sure.
Also the negative, but also the positive. That so many people are coming back after such a long time of being away. This is a phenomena that we never experienced it in this way ever in history. There was always Teshuvah, but there was always the person came from Judaism throughout his lifetime. It's not that he left completely or he was born out of it and then he found himself a way back. It's a new concept. So this concept, because it's a new concept, there's also a new type of Teshuvah. It's not a new type of Teshuvah that Chazal didn't talk about. They talked about it, but it wasn't usually experienced. You wouldn't find it too often in history, this type of Teshuvah. So in this generation, everybody in the world, they're all searching. Everybody's searching. This phenomena of a search, in and of itself, needs a lot of contemplation. That people are looking for something. Now, if we look, there's two type of phenomena in searching. There's, if we're Jewish, and the Jew is searching, so he's usually searching, he doesn't know, he might not be aware, but he's usually searching for Hashem. And then he finds it. He finds the truth somehow throughout wherever he's mitayed, wherever he goes around the world, he goes and he finds. But there's another type of search, and this search is done globally by almost all of humanity. And there's a search for different types of treatments, health treatments. There's a Refuat HaGuf, Refuat HaNefesh, there's different types. There's people that are not physically well and they're searching for some kind of healing. And there's people that are maybe physically well, but they're not mentally well. So they're searching for another type of healing. And then there's the natural phenomena of everybody going natural and drinking juices and all this, and the different types of things that are coming up. But they're all in search. They're search for health. Now these two phenomena, they're actually one and the same. It's just globally when we look at the Goyim and different types of Umot HaOlam, different types of nations doing it, so how does it represent, how is it found in their state? In their state it's more fuat guf, fuat nefesh, some kind of healing, some kind of state of happiness, self-help. There's so many self-help, like Tony Robbins and all these types of things. And everybody, they go over there and they have an experience. It's a mental health issue or some kind of even physical sometimes. But everybody's searching. And they're more or less all searching for an answer. And the answer usually is something that'll make me feel better. But these two are one and the same. How do we know that it's one and the same? Chazal, they say Gdola Tshuva Shemviya Lidei Ofra. Meaning that Tshuva, to do Tshuva, and Refuah, and to be healthy are one and the same. One brings the other one to be. Tshuva is by definition healing. So everybody in the world is basically, fundamentally, essentially looking for Tshuva. They're all in a search. What are they in a search for? They're in a search for something missing. What's missing? Their relationship with their Creator. The relationship with the Creator is something that's innate. Whether mentally or psychologically aware of it, subconsciously aware of it or not, it's a deep, fundamental, innate feeling that every human being experiences on earth because they were created. By being created, one is searching for the Creator. And that Creator, what is He? He's Ani Hashem Ofecha. I am God the healer.
I think that they are starting looking for tshuva for themselves. And by looking deep into themselves, they are finding God.
Yeah. But
Because-
what is tshuva?
Because I think it's the other way.
What do you mean the other way?
You said that they are looking for God. People not really looking for God in the beginning. They are looking for answer inside themselves.
The question is, are they aware?
And then they are aware that something bigger behind
No,
them.
what I said was, there's an innate pull for every human being to want to find their Creator, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. It's innate. It's not something that they know when they're born, or maybe they do know when they're born. They later on forget. But that search to fill something that's missing, that by definition is looking for God. But they are not aware of it. Like when I say I'm going to look for something that's missing for me. I want to be healed, whether spiritually, physically, mentally, whatever the case may be. Every minute Hashem, He created the world chaser. He created the human being always in a state of losing, in an entropy state. He's always missing something. And by missing something, it makes him go out and search.
Even going.
There's never a state when they reach, oh, I have everything. You do when you go to Hashem. Then He shows you what it's like to have everything. What does that mean? It doesn't mean you're going to have everything. It means that if you reach Hashem, you have everything. Whether you externally experience everything or not, that it says, Ezo sameach, Ezo ashir, asameach b'chelko. Meaning to be ashir, to be wealthy, or to be whole. It just means to be happy with what you have. How are you happy with what you have? Is it a great emunah. You have Hashem. If you have Hashem, I'm not missing anything. So if they feel missing, that by definition is God, emptiness of God. We're not aware of it. No, people don't put together the pieces. But if we try to dissect why am I right now feeling empty, the true answer, if they're going to search deep, is that I don't have God in my life. He's not. I don't have any relationship with Hashem.
That's what I
In the beginning, they maybe even have trouble saying Hashem. But this is just a lack of understanding. Okay. We said this phenomena of searching. People feel empty. So in Israel, we see also another phenomenon that most people after the army. Army is a place where you get the sense of purpose. At least if you're in the higher ranks, maybe not the jobnik as much, but if you're in the higher ranks, you felt a sense of purpose, and then all of a sudden they yank the purpose away after 3 years, 4 years, and now you go out to the normal world, and instead of going out to the normal world, what do? They go to Hodu and they go to different countries to go on vacation. I need to go search. I need to go find myself. Their intention is to fill a void. Their intention is to get high off themselves, to have like a trip. But really, that search, it's the same search. And that's why many of them, they find Hashem and they come back, they go to yeshiva, and there's also many houses over there already prepared for those people to come and sit down and talk with them when they get here. They're already ready. They don't know it when they're going, but
Chabad house.
Yeah, Chabad house. There's other
There's all kind of organization
right.
waiting to receive.
So now what we did was we connected two phenomena. We said that tshuva and refu'ah, they're both the same. Meaning, gdola tshuva shemavia lidei refu'ah. Greatest tshuva, that it brings health. Tshuva is tashuv Hashem, go back to Hashem. Or the answer. Very simple. You have a question, that's the answer. What's the answer to every question in the world? Tshuva. There's no question on the face of the earth that the answer is not tshuva. Just people need to, in their specific situation, understand what do I need to do tshuva for. But the answer is always tshuva. It doesn't matter the question. Even the most fundamental, even the most mundane questions, the answer is tshuva. Deep down inside, the answer is tshuva. Another phenomena that is connected to these two is Geula. So we have tshuva, refuah, and now Geula. How do we know that Geula also has a direct connection to tshuva? Because Chazal tell us that in the moment Israel will do tshuva, miyad nigalim. The moment that Am Yisrael will do tshuva, tshuvat haklal, we'll see what's the difference between tshuvat haprat and tshuvat haklal, which means when the one individual does tshuva versus the whole nation does tshuva. But once Am Yisrael, Klal Yisrael does tshuva, so the Geula is right, you should find the Geula right after that. So Geula is directly connected to Refuah and Refuah to Geula. Before we explain why I said it in this order, Tshuva, Refuah, Geula, this is the correct order. Before this, there's one more phenomenon that comes actually before all three of these. And this phenomenon is called Emunah, faith. How do we know that this has to come first? How can one do tshuva if he doesn't start to believe? But Emunah is the first thing that happened before one reaches tshuva. Once he reaches tshuva, miyad mitrapeh, he gets healed. And after he's healed, the individual will experience Geula. But if Am Yisrael does it as a klal, as all of us, then they experience the Geula Ashlema, Baklal Bafat. But even the individual will experience Geula in this order after he does tshuva. From Emunah to tshuva to Refuah to Geula. all these four are one unit. They're all connected one to another. The Rambam says, יסוד היסודות ועמוד החוכמות לדע שיש שם מצוי ראשון, מצוי ראשון כוונה הוא השם. He says יסוד היסודות, the foundation of all foundations. ועמוד החוכמות, and the pillar of wisdom, is to know that there is מצוי ראשון. There is the first creator being. There's the first being. And that first being is Hashem. Matzur Rishon. And then he goes on to say that this Matzur Rishon is innate, like we said earlier. The person is feeling some kind of chaser, something missing. And that Matzur Rishon is what he's looking for. Say, Hashem. So we said Emunah, Tshuva, Refuah, Geulah. This is the order. We just passed the month of Elul, and Elul, the Mazal of Elul is Betula. Betula is Virgo. What does it mean, Betula? Why Betula? Because in these days we do Tshuva, we prepare ourselves for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, which is also considered and many times understood as a marriage. So the Betula is in preparation. But in Chodesh Elul, it's the month that it says Amelech Basadeh, that Hashem is here, He's close to us. And many people ask questions in Chodesh Elul. The search, a lot of catastrophes, a lot of problems, so it right away leads to a question. The mind starts to leave a lower mundane state, whether he likes to or not, whether he wants to or not. In this month, there's a lot of tension.
So that was Herman's purpose? That was Herman from the gift from Hashem.
What's the point of all this? Elul, Ani lo dodi v'dodi li. Hashem is in the area, and nobody is paying attention. So he comes knocking on the door. And he has to elevate the state of mind somehow. So he makes
Category 3.
noise.
Category 5 in my house.
Elul, Betula, it's also Gematria, it equals Ulai Yesh Elokim. Maybe there is God. Betula, what's the Betula need to say? Because she's now preparing to get married. She's a young girl, fresh. It's like Betula, it's also state of mind. It's when you're still not thinking about the important questions in life yet. So now it's time to ask Ulai Yesh Elokim. Maybe there's something. Maybe there's purpose to life after all. Maybe there's something more important that I need to do. So this... כן, במידה מסוימת. אנחנו לא חוקרים עמוק לזה, אבל אנחנו יודעים שיש לזה משמעות.
ועל אותו חודש ספטמבר, כאילו אלול, בתולה.
זה הולך לפי החודשים העבריים, אבל בגמרא במסכת שבת היא מדברת על מזלות ומה ההשפעה שלהם לכל אדם. אבל אומר שישראל מעל המזל, כוונה, ישראל means that they're above the mazal. How do you say the mazal?
Your fortune.
Not fortune.
The horoscope.
Not the horoscope, I don't like that word.
Whoever born in Elul
About the
is
sign.
Above
The
the stars.
sun,
a
the
good
sun,
one,
the
no?
zodiac sign.
Sorry.
So when you reach a state of nefesh elokit, if one is able to leave his mundane state, his goof, his ego, so all of a sudden all of the powers of all the mazalot are now by him. He has the power of all 12 signs. He doesn't now only have an affinity to his own sign. If he stays with the nefesh habehemit, then he's tachat mazal. That's why yesh mashmot lemazal, because when a Jew is not following the Torah, so he's affected by the mazalot. What it says, Yisrael ma'al mazal, is that in potential they can go above it.
Okay.
But if
זה
they
נכון מאוד.
if they don't keep the Torah, so Hashem gave authority for the mazalot to have an effect on them. But even that simple Jew, if he makes a detour of his day, for example, he just walks into the Knesset and starts to pray, right away the effect of the mazal immediately is shifted. There's a discrepancy. So you can never, even if you're a simple Jew who doesn't keep the Torah and mitzvot, the mazal has much less effect on you than it does on a non-Jew, which has
Basically,
full mazal.
your spiritual change, you change your spirituality level or your understanding or your habit, then you change you're able to.
Right. Even it says even a simple Jew is male mitzvot karimon. He has many mitzvot, and therefore.
Yakov explains it very nice. He talks about a woman that she davens on Shabbat, to Hashem. She prays and she asks, to help her with her children, and she asks, and nothing happened. It stays with her mazal, whatever was written already, But then the Shabbat after, she cries in a way, she rips the sky and she elevates. So she's not the same. Let's say her name is Dash. She's a totally new person. She's not the same person.
Right.
So that new person has a new road ready for him, a new mazal.
Right. So every Jew, he deviates from the mazal on a daily basis, but he could be mitachat lamazal. But in every moment when he's doing or thinking about me'arahera, he's even just thinking about tshuva or thinking about a mitzvah or doing a mitzvah, so he deviates. He loses the effect of the mazal on that day, on that moment.
Even if it's not L'Shem Shemayim?
Even if it's not L'Shem Shemayim, it has an effect. Okay. We said that we have 4 different phenomena that are linked one to the other. Tshuva, refuah, tshuva, refuah. What do we say? Emunah, tshuva, refuah, geula. סימן
עכשיו שלחתי
טוב.
את זה לכולם, אתרוג. אמונה, תשובה,
ניתן את הסימן הבא.
גאולה.
איך אמונה? לא התחלנו עם תשובה?
אמונה, תשובה.
כדי להגיע לתשובת אחת שלך אמונה.
Right. We said that we brought the emunah afterwards, but I said it goes before all of them.
אוקיי.
So
אז
we-
אמונה?
אמונה, תשובה, refuah, geula. We'll know the siman soon. I'll explain the siman.
כן.
But we said earlier that the refuah is linked to tshuva, meaning the direct effects of tshuva, immediate effects of tshuva. Once a person does tshuva, in that moment, he's immediately healed. This can even be experienced individually or even through somebody, that the person, the second he makes the decision to do tshuva, right away he feels better. And he even has strength if he has a machala, chas shalom, lo alenu. If he has anything, he immediately feels strength to push through it. And the more he increases the emunah, the more that he'll be, the more tshuva he'll experience, the more tshuva he'll experience, the more refuah he'll experience, v'chula, and he can get out of it. How do we know this? Where do we see this in history? Why? So it says that in Har Sinai, when we got the Torah, Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is a Mitzrayim. It's like a Mitzar, something that's holding you hostage. And Hashem takes you out of Mitzrayim. There was forced tshuva, but they did tshuva. And as they were doing tshuva, when they got up to Har Sinai, it says that in order to get the Torah, you cannot have any mumim. You can't have any disfigures or embellishments or anything. So Hashem ripa, He healed the whole nation. There was no such thing as a person that was blind. There was no, even if a person was missing a limb, he had the limb. Everything went back to whole. When they got the Torah in Har Sinai, which means
The tshuva.
tshuva. In order to get the Torah, you have to do tshuva. In order to get the Torah, it's also you need to do tshuva. But when you do tshuva, אתה מתרפא. Why? Because in order to receive geula, you have to be healed. What is geula? Geula is
Free of jail.
out of the sick. And when we say sick, everybody's sick today. They have either mental health issues, or they have physical issues, or they have both. Or even if they have neither, they have mental issues, they're just not aware of it.
Whatever way you don't go, you got something. לחיים טובים, לאמת.
Also, today, Torah Chadasha Me'iti Titzeh, it says, Hashem, we're going to get the Torah again, Al Yedei Mashiach. It says Torah Chadasha Me'iti Titzeh, Al Yedei Melech HaMashiach. We get the same Torah, but in a much different interpretation, a higher mimad, a higher level. When we receive this Torah, in order to receive it, we have to do tshuva in order to litrapot in the same ma'alach that we just explained. With these four phenomena, Chazal, the sages, attach another word to all of these four phenomena, and only these four phenomena do we find this word attached to it. What's the word? Shlema. So Emunah Shlema, Tshuva Shlema, Ufwa Shlema, Geula Shlema. Where do we see these terms? We find them all in the Siddur. So in the end of Shachrit, we find Ani Ma'amin Be'emunah Shlema. The Shosa Eikarim of the Rambam, Be'biat HaMashiach, וכו'. So Ani Ma'amin Be'emunah Shlema. And then we find Tshuva Shlema. Where do we find it? In Shmona Esrei. Tshuva Shlema. And we find also Refuah Shlema in Shmona Esrei. And we find also Geula Shlema in Shmona Esrei. All these bituim, these terms.
In that order also? In Shmona Esrei?
No. The Emunah comes at the end of the Tefillah. And the Tshuva comes in the right order, the Refuah and the Geula. So these three are in the order, Emunah is after. But Emunah is a concept that's not in the liturgy of the Tefillah itself. It's after we say Shosei Karim of the Rambam. But the Bitui, this idiom was said by the sages at one point or another. In Shmona Esrei, just if you want to see it, Ashivenu b'tshuva shlema lefanecha, and it says Ve'aleh lanu ha'ukah ve'ufa shlema, right? And then it says V'go'alenu geula shlema. In Nusach Sfarad, they say V'go'alenu geula shlema. And we said a way to remember this is siman etrog. Ma kesher, what is the relation to etrog in these four phenomena that we just explained?
The Torah also have four things.
Yeah, but Rashi Tevot of etrog, what is the etrog itself? What does it have to do with these four? So first of all, just as whoever remembers what we learned, Achnav Dalam Taka with Pag Bavad Hashem and all the Chagim. So Sukkot is the final Chag. It's not the first Chag. It's not Rosh Hashanah. It's not the beginning of the year. It's actually more close to the end of the year than it is to the beginning. And Sukkot is the final of the three Shalosh HaGalim. Pesach is the first, then Shavuot, then Sukkot. Sukkot is the final. Sukkot is much more whole. We say Halel Shalem on all of the days of Sukkot.
למה בסוף הוחלט לחגוג בתשרי ולא בניסן את ראש השנה?
זה ראש השנה, זה לא התחלת השנה. Venisan is like a baby who just starts. And Rosh Hashanah, it's a person who became an adult. Meaning the year starts from the lowest level. And it ends at the highest level. What's the highest level? Purim is the highest level. It's 2 weeks before. Or it's 1 year later. How you look at it. Purim is the highest state. And Pesach is like a baby who is born. That's why Chazal is saying Pesach Hashem Tukasah Mitzam Krat Yam Suf was like the woman giving birth. And the kids, they're taking them by the hand, by force. The father, they're not aware what's going on. They're being forced out. And Hashem says, you can't eat any normal food, eat these crackers. It's just, they are called Yeled. Hashem menik lahem, man min shamayim. It's all, we have no time. We cannot fight them. We're too young. But in Sukkot, what does Chazal say? Go fight. You can go outside get into the sukkah, take the lulav and etrog, and you can kill the satan with it.
Shake it.
What do we do in Pesach? We take the lulav, we burn it in the fire. Hashem says, throw the sword out. You now.
Some people burn the kid.
Not some people. I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't do it because they're not aware of it. But all of Israel know this minhag to take the lulav. We keep it until Pesach, and then we burn it with the chametz. Why do we burn it? Because Hashem says you have to throw out the knife. You can't fight anymore. But you have to understand that the Purim and the next Pesach, it's an aliyah. What's the aliyah? You're starting again, but you're starting on a much higher level. And every year, you spiral to a higher level, but you start again fresh, new, in the beginning of the year, Nisan, and you go through until you reach Purim. Purim is the highest state of mind. You can drink. There's no laws. Shum davar asur. Hakol mutar. Hakol mutar. There's no laws. There's no chag that you're not allowed to turn on the lights, you're not allowed to turn it off. There's nothing. And you have to reach a state of mind where you don't know the difference between good and evil. What does that mean? נראה לי שדוחים. פורים לא יוצא בשבת. I do פסח. פורים לא יוצא בשבת. Not that I think.
אולי דוחים עם זה אם זה יוצא בשבת.
לא, השאלה שלי היה אם יצא פעם שיצא בכלל.
יוצא ביום שישי אבל לא בשבת. אוקיי. But Sukkot, of the Shalosh Regalim, is the highest state. It's still within confines. You're still limited to what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. But you're much more, less restricted. You're allowed to go out, you take the sword, you take the etog, you're allowed to fight. You end in Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah is that Siyamti the Siyum Torah. So we said, what is the Kesher Ben Etrog? What is the Siman? Also, Halacha, Etrog has to be whole, Shlema. Also, the second bitui that we said that all these are attached to are Etrog. Etrog is not allowed to be chaser. It's not, if an etrog is chaser or pasul, it's not kosher. Or pitam, or yesh lo chaser. On any part of its body, if it's missing a piece of the shell, the klipa, it's pasul. And the cleaner it is, the better it is. Meaning the more whole it is, the better it is.
And if you have ריבת אתרוגים מסוכות שהעבר שהבעל משאיר, זה אתה מקבל זכויות מיוחדות?
כן, אתה שורף את זה עם הלולב.
עם הפסח.
We'll get to school at the end of the show.
What's the etrog? Why is it kashrut to this? Because Sukkot represents the time of Geulah. It represents the time of Tshuva. It's also in the end of the 10 days. And then we did Tshuva Shlema, V'samachta b'chagecha, we reach a high state of Simcha. The Sukkah represents Refu'ah. It says that when you go into the Sukkah, mitrapim, you become healthy. Whoever goes into the Sukkah properly and does that things properly, niya bar v'shalem. After such a long time getting close to Hashem, if you follow from Elul all the way to Tishrei, he gets so close to Hashem, Shema Apotu. So all of these concepts are kshurim to the Sukkah. Also there's a machlok in the Gemara, nigalim b'Pesach or nigalim b'Sukkot. So there's poskim that say in Sukkot. Sukkot is, we nigalnu b'Pesach, but that was the beginning. In the end, we get out in Sukkot.
This is true that there is sgula, like big sgula for the etrog, or I mean, like to buy expensive etrog and mu'udar.
The more mu'udar, the more it's not about expensive. The more clean it is, usually more expensive. Then it's not a sgula. It's a hidur mitzvah of a very important mitzvah. A mitzvah that represents emunah, tshuva, refuah, ve'geula. It represents the wholeness of the person. So usually, not zu simanim, but a person who's gets a very meudar is siman yafe.
But I don't like it.
What?
that you have to put a lot of money to be...
You don't have
You know,
to.
it's not nice thing.
אז הידור מצווה. למה it's not nice?
Lama, so poor people can't do hidur mitzvah. So it's the most important thing is the meaning of the mitzvah.
I can say that about everything. Then I can't. I would like to have a huge house. It's a hidur. It looks more moldar, but I can't have it.
But God give us what we're supposed to.
Right. לפי שורת דילה, whatever a person can afford, he should spend on the mitzvah. ויחשב לו as if he spent thousands.
This is a motto that we should go with.
Right, but
Because
if a person has,
It's something that it becomes, instead of being a do mitzvah, a little bit of חס וחלילה לא לקטר לעם ישראל, אבל the line between that to fall into a
But that's not
place
the-
of ge'ava,
But that's not
of
the-
getting the best
but that's-
is very, very
okay, but
light.
that's a different problem. That's a problem
It's a
that
daily problem.
אינטרפרטציה שלנו, מאמי.
that's a different problem.
לא, אבל זה יכול להיות קו דק בין בן אדם שעושה את זה לידור לבן אדם שעושה את זה
Usually the person,
לא, אבל
בטח,
אתרוג אני לא
אבל זה
חושבת
עבודה
שאנשים
עצמית,
עושים.
זה-
usually the person who is מתגאה doesn't go for the fancy etrog.
Go to the fancy car.
אתה יכול להתגאות
But-
בלידור
לא,
מצווה.
לא באתרוג.
אפשר להתגאות
יש מלא
בהידור
סיפורים
מצווה.
של
אבל אם הוא
האנשים-
באמת הוציא כסף בשביל הידור, אז
כן.
מסתמה שהראש שלו לא נמצא שם. מסתמה. There are, I'm sure there's people that go and buy the fancy one just to have, but it's very small amount of people. If you're gonna worry about it. Now, the cost, it has nothing to do with the seller, it has to do with the people. Yes, shuk, right? Supply and demand, and that's it, and that's what causes the price to inflate. There's people that are willing to pay, and therefore the prices are set. They're not set by the seller; they're set by the buyer, by the buyers.
Yeah.
In every market, it works that way.
כמו
So-
שמכרו מים בהוריקן ב$100.
כן. נכון? יש ביקוש, כולם יקנו. מי שיכול יקנה. It also causes less chaos. Imagine if I would sell it at a low price, then it would be so many people
No
coming and nobody gets anything. If you make the price high, much less people come and it's much more, it's safer. So there's a market. There's a law. Okay. So we said Emunah, Tshuva, Hofwa, Geula. And we said Simanach, Etrog. And we said the Kesher Ben Etrog. And we said that all these are linked one to the other and they actually happen in this specific order. Once a person has Hevzek Shel Emunah, in that moment he starts to want to get close to Hashem, he's doing Tshuva by definition. The second he does that, miyad, right after he starts to feel refuah, starts to feel much better. And the moment after that, he's already sees the Geulah right in front of him. At least from an individual perspective, and it can be a klal perspective. So it happens in this order. Now we're going to add another phenomena to this. Mimashma, that it says emunah shlema, tshuva shlema, refuah shlema, Geula Shlema. So we hear from here, it's inferred that there is not Emunah Shlema, and there's not Tshuva Shlema, and there's not Refuah Shlema, and there is not Geula Shlema. So what is Emunah Lo Shlema? And what is Tshuva Lo Shlema? What is Refuah Lo Shlema? So it's inferred that if there is something whole, then there has to be something that's not whole. What's emunah that's not whole?
It's not complete emunah.
Not complete emunah. There's another bitui, there's another idiom, or it's chitzoni, or it's pnimi. There's chitzoniut, and there's pnimiut, or internal and external. So every shalem also comes in chetzi. This concept of shalem v'chetzi is also a known concept in Kabbalah. That everything whole has to have a half. So what we're going to say here is that every one of these phenomena have to have a not whole phenomena. And we're going to explain all the four, how they have an internal and an external, and what they are. And we'll see how we connect everything. Now you have to understand that chitzoniyut, internal or external, In and of themselves, they're not good. Together, they're good. We're not saying if we're saying the external, the chitzoni, we're not saying that it's bad. We're saying that it needs the internal. But to be whole, they need to be both. Most of us in our generation are experiencing the external in most of the cases. And we don't experience in the same time the internal. In order to experience the internal, there's a certain something that needs to be added to the equation. We'll talk about it. Okay. We'll start a small introduction. We'll say, we said in the beginning of the shiur that everybody's searching. And we said that what they're searching for is tshuva, they're just not aware of it. They're looking for Hashem to do tshuva. They want to cleanse themselves, return to some level of innocence. They're not aware of it. Tshuva lo shlema, if we're already talking about tshuva for a minute, what can be tshuva lo shlema? We talked about the whole year, lo yachpotz aksir betvuna ki im beit galut libo. There's another person that searches, right? The person we said that goes, even after the tzava, he goes to search. He's not consciously aware that he's searching for some kind of thing that's empty. He's looking for an experience, a chavaya. He's in search of an experience to say, I did this, or I went to this, and then I'll come back, I'll go to college, get married. I want to get out of, he even thinks I want to get out of the state of responsibility. So he goes in order to fulfill an internal emptiness. And that internal emptiness, he's doing it only for his own self, for his own egocentric motives. He's not doing it in order to do l'shem shamayim. So it's lo yachpotz aksir betvuna. He's not really going after the truth, the tvuna, we call it the truth. Ki im beit galut libo. He's looking for some kind of a trip. He's looking for a high. So tshuva lo amitit, or tshuva, an external type of tshuva, is a search, but it's not for the right reasons. It's just for an internal trip. It's an internal high. We'll get back to this in a minute. Everything we said needs to be whole in order for it to take effect. Even if for it to happen in this order, emunah, tshuva, ufuah, geulah, it has to be whole in order for everything to move in the proper order. If it's not whole, so it's just a burst of experience. It's not something that lasts for a long time. So the person can feel emunah, and then he starts to want to do tshuva, and then he starts to feel a little bit to ufuah, but immediately it all starts to go away. It doesn't hold. Why it doesn't hold? Because he didn't do it shalem. Think about, in order to maybe try to give an example of this. So, a person who's addicted, he has an addiction to something. Addicted to drugs. In our generation, it's very, very new. If he wants to stop the drug, so mentally, in order to muster the will to stop, what does he have to do in his mind? He has to come to a decision that he doesn't want it anymore. But there's something physical that has to take place. What has to take place? If he leaves an open door, right? If he says, I'll close all the doors, I'll throw out all the drugs, all the hiding spots, but I just won't tell the drug dealer not to sell to me anymore. He just leaves the door, one door open. So for sure he's not going to be able to get out of it. What is tshuva lo shlema? Emunah lo shlema? It's just like a backup. I'm going to keep one small, it doesn't matter how small it is, just the back door open a little, just in case I can't make it. He already didn't make it. Immediately he lost the game. מה זה אמונה שלמה? is that there's no doors. It's like you jump into off a bridge, and there's no coming back. If you don't come to that kind of a decision, then it's not gonna hold water, right? If you have a cup and it has a little hole on the bottom, small hole, tiny hole, doesn't matter. Slowly, all of the water is gonna empty.
It's taking a long time to do tshuva. I mean, like tshuva shlema.
It's not taking long. It doesn't take long time to do tshuva. This is another concept people don't understand. What does it take? It takes a long time to make the decision to do tshuva. But the second you make the decision, it takes 1 second.
But we don't know everything. I mean, we still
You don't need to know. You don't need to know anything. מה הכוונה?
לעשות את המצוות, לעבוד על המידות שלנו, כאילו זה
We'll see also today, but we don't need to know anything.
You cannot do it in 1 second.
You can do it in 1 second.
על
Everything in 1 second. Even if you don't know the whole Torah.
1 second בלי להתעצבן?
1 second. But what do you need to do? Meaning it takes maybe 10, 15, 20 years to make the decision that now I'm doing tshuva. But the second he decides I'm going to do tshuva, that's when it starts to happen. Immediately. It doesn't take time to do tshuva. לא רחוקה, we just read, אתם ניצבים. לא רחוקה ממך, לא רחוקה מעבר לים, לא, מצוות התשובה. ושבת את השם אלוקיך.
מדובר בתשובה שלמה, לא על תשובה.
תשובה שלמה. מדובר בתשובה שלמה.
כן, אבל את חושבת שתשובה שלמה תלויה שאת חייבת לעשות את זה וזה וזה.
נכון.
זה לא.
זה בדיוק אנחנו נדבר על שלא.
זה כן.
לא.
זה לא. את מה שאלתי?
לא. אני אסביר.
אתה אמרת לי, כי אני שאלתי.
מה שאלת?
מה שאלתי כמו שאלה? והוא אמר לי זה, אז אני...
הנה, אני אסביר. היום זה אולי יותר מובן.
כן.
כי יש מידות שעבדתי עליהן, הן completed. אני מרגישה שזה יכול להיות פעם בשני זה, אבל יש הרבה דברים שאני, I didn't complete it.
If you work on midot individually, nothing will happen. There's no working on the midot. We can't work on the midot.
work on alpha and the ego.
You need to, exactly, and then it will work itself out. הכוונה הוא, what I'm trying to say here is that tshuva is a split second and it's תלוי decision. It's just like what we said, the drug addict who stops taking drugs, it's immediate. It's either he stops or he doesn't stop, but the second he stops, he stopped. He doesn't... No, what are we? We're trying to do tshuva, but we didn't do tshuva. Tshuva is a split second action. A lot of balei tshuva, they experience full tshuva for the first few months because they decided to do a whole tshuva, and they really experienced the real experience of tshuva. But then he falls back. It's inevitable that he's going to fall back. But then he needs to, 20 years later, do again tshuva. He's going to do tshuva again, the same tshuva that he just took him 20 years to come back to that same. Hashem helped him in the beginning to say, I got all the energy to say, that's it. I'm not doing anything anymore. Gamalti.
And back door.
There's no back door. I close all the doors. I come to a decision and it's over. But in order to close all those back doors, it takes the strongest will in the world. It takes will, ratzon, atzum.
אז רגע, okay, to close all these doors, it's mean not to go back, right? So if you're not going, זה אומר תשובה שלמה?
Okay, עוד שנייה, I'll explain to make it understood a bit better. Okay. Also in Shem Hashem, it says Yud Ke Vav Ke Kiyad Al Kesya. Also Hashem's name has a concept that it Hashem Shmo Lo Shalem. Yud Ke Vav Ke.
מה זה K?
K זה ה'.
זה מילה באנגלית. אני אומרת את האות, יש אז את אומרת בשם השם.
כן, אבל זה אות באנגלית, זאת אומרת K.
לא, K זה כמו ה' שאי אפשר להגיד ה'.
אבל למה K?
כי זה הביטוי שאומרים י' כו' כ' במקום להגיד י' וה' וו' וה'.
לא, אבל מעניין אותי מאיפה ה-K, כי K זה אות באנגלית.
לא, ה-K הוא בא בגלל ששמים ק' במקום. אז זה נהיה ק'. אז במקום להגיד ק', י' ק', אז אומרים ק'. זה כמו לבטא מצרה תחת הק'. אוקיי. When Hashem's name is not whole, when Hashem's name is not whole, why is it? When Hashem's name is not whole, when it's just Yud K without the Vav K. So it's Kiyad al Kesya. There's a pasuk that when Amalek is still in the world, then Hashem's name is not whole. What's missing of the name? The Vav K. Hashem's name is not whole. What's the Vav K? It's the external. The external is not available. What does that mean, the external is not available?
On the person?
My nefesh be'emit is occupied. My animal soul is right now busy. So Yud K, the beginning of Hashem's name, is unable to attach itself to Vav K, and therefore Hashem's name is not whole, and it's also Chetzi. It's not Shalem. This concept of Emunah Shlema, Tshuva Shlema, Ufwa Shlema, Geula Shlema, it's also Hashem's name is not whole. What does it mean to have Emunah Shlema? We said, what is there? Emunah Sheilo Shlema. It means that there's two meimadim, there's two panim, there's an internal and an external. What is the internal and what is the external of Emunah? Where did we see two concepts in the Torah of the word Emunah? So it says in the Torah, after in Shirat Hayam, before Shirat Hayam, Vayaminu ba'Hashem u'b'Moshe avdo. What does it mean, Vayaminu ba'Hashem u'b'Moshe avdo? It means that Emunah has to be on two fronts. What does it have to be on? It has to be Vayaminu ba'Hashem. You have to believe in God. U'b'Moshe avdo. And also in the prophet of Hashem. So an external and an internal emunah, what does it mean? It means in every generation you have to believe in Hashem, and there's also an ne'ado, the eyes of the generation. Why do we need the eyes of the generation? In Mitzrayim there was Korach. In Mitzrayim there was the concept, there was Korach. Korach was also a tzaddik, but he made his own section. Whoever wants to come to me. Moshe Rabbeinu is a ne'ado. It says on Moshe Rabbeinu, Tmunat Hashem Yabit. The Baal HaTanya explains, Mazo Tmunat Hashem Yabit, that God's picture Moshe sees. That's the almost the literal interpretation. Utmunat Hashem Yabit. It says of Moshe Rabbeinu, because he reached the highest state, he doesn't have any ga'ava. It says on Moshe Rabbeinu, Vayish Moshe Anav Mikol Adam Asher Pnei Adama.
יש שם מקום להצפת.
You comment on my mom, my grandma.
Moshe reaches the highest state of Anava. Vayish Moshe Anav Meod Mikol Adam Asher Pnei Adama. This Anava, he loses all sense of self. He doesn't have any I, which means the animal soul is totally nullified. What happens as a result of that? If I take my eyes out of the picture, if I take myself out of the picture,
Yes, Hashem.
then now Hashem, He takes His place inside of me. And whatever I see, whatever He sees, I see. There's no nigiut, the concept of nigiut. You know what is the concept of nigiut? When somebody is biased in a perspective, why is he biased? Like, why can you not testify for a family member or be a witness for a family member or something like this? Why can't one be?
You're not objective.
He won't be partial. He's going to have his own twist on whatever happened. This is called negiut. How do I remove myself? If I can technically, if we think about this concept, if I can remove myself from the picture, then what do I get to see? I get to see the truth. The truth is blurred because I'm in the way. If my consciousness is in the way of something, then I twist the reality. Why is there so many people with so many different opinions in the world? Because their egocentricity is blocking the truth. All they need to do is remove themselves from the picture, and then they get to see. By Moshe Rabbeinu it says, "V'tmunat Hashem yabit." V'yish Moshe anav mikol adam asher pnei adama. He's the most humble on the face of the earth. Because he's the most humble, what does he become? The eyes of the generation. It says that Moshe asa le'enei kol Yisrael. This is how the Torah finalizes. The last verse of the Torah is Asher asa le'enei kol Yisrael. And Chazal tell us what is Lashon asa. Asa means tikkun, that he mitaken, he rectified. What did he rectify? Le'enei kol Yisrael, the eyes of Israel. What does it mean to fix the eyes of Israel? That's what the pasuk is meaning. Asher asa Moshe le'enei kol Yisrael. That he healed the eyes of Israel. What did he heal them from?
מזה שהם ראו את העגל? העגל? או שבירת הלוחות?
No. From their egocentricity. He was able to rise them up to a level where they can see reality without them in the mix, without their perspective. So they get to see the truth. Moshe Rabbeinu is always there. Utmunat Hashem yabit. Why do we need to believe in the eyes of the generation? Why is it so important? After I told you all this, what do you think?
Because we can't get through our ego, and he can.
Because you're blind,
Yeah.
basically. It's not enough just to believe in Hashem. It's not enough just to believe in Hashem. If you believe in Hashem only, so almost 100%, unless you're Moshe, you're blind. Only one Moshe in a generation. So why does it say you need external and internal emunah for it to be shalem? What is emunah shlema? V'yaminu b'Hashem u'Moshe avdo. Now we can say, oh, there's no Moshe. No, Chazal say that in every generation there's Moshe.
אז השלמה זה בעצם
The problem is that most people argue who is the Moshe. And many people don't even say there's a Moshe. They don't need a Moshe. A lot of people say.
ממשה למשה לא קם.
אז יש עדכון כאילו לגבי מי המשה?
רגע, שנייה. קודם כל צריך לדעת שיש משה in every generation.
Okay.
And if you don't go and find him,
It's okay.
then you're blind.
Then you're blind?
Then you're blind. If you don't actively
אבל what qualifies as a משה עבדו?
that's let's ask a different question.
Yeah.
What brings me to the Moshe of the generation?
לימוד תורה.
I need to know the truth. I want to know the truth. That's all. Not everybody wants to know the
אבל
truth.
בזה יש חלוקה לנורמלית.
מה הכוונה? Not everybody wants to know the truth. If my ego is very strong, then it wants to find the truth that I already have established in my own mind. So I go and I search. What am I searching for? Bit Galut Libo. Why does people get attracted to somebody like we said Tony Robbins? Or why is somebody attracted to this rabbi and another one is attracted to this rabbi? And all different people are attracted to different types of healing. This nutritionist, the best nutritionist. This yoga guy, the best yoga. What is the connection? Why do I connect to something?
Because it answered their ego, זה מתאים להם.
נכון. זה משהו שאני I recognized myself inside of that person, and that recognition
Makes me feel good.
it gives me what does it give me? It gives me assertion on my reality. What do I need to do in order to get to the real Moshe of the generation?
שאתה לא מרגיש מה פתאום.
לא נכון.
לא
הוא לא צריך להיות מקובל, הוא צריך להיות ענב.
רגע.
לא צריך להיות
אחד
מקובל,
לדור,
צריך
זה לא
להיות
יכול להיות כמה בדור, זה
לא, אחד לדור.
רק אחד לדור.
וכל אחד יש לו את הפוטנציאל להגיע לרמה של להיות האחד.
אבל רק האחד הוא נמצא
אבל
שם.
רק אחד יקבל את הזה.
לא, רק אחד באמת נמצא
השאלה
שם.
נשאלת מה זה דור?
דור זה the generation that you're in right now.
אוקיי.
לא יכול להיות דור
שיש
שיש שניים. זה לא משנה. הדור שלך שאת נמצאת בו עכשיו, והדור של הבת שלך יש אחד. ברגע שאותו אחד ימות, יהיה אחר. וגם אם את חיה עוד, אז תצטרכי ללכת אחר השני. The next one. רגע. שנייה. What do I need in order to find the real Moshe of the generation?
Know somebody like you that knows what's going on.
One second.
I'm sure he didn't find it yet.
There's a universal way to find.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be through somebody or something, or you need to find out. You need to find him on your own. Even if I tell you who he is, you have to believe that it's him.
נכון, ברור.
זה לא יעזור שאני אגיד לך מי הוא.
טוב, אצלי בבית כבר סגור העניין.
רגע, שנייה.
אין אופציה אחרת.
שנייה.
מה עם כבודו של הרבי?
מסכימה.
ודאי שהוא היה. בוודאי שהוא היה, הוא היה אותו משה של הדור, אין ספק.
כן.
עכשיו, כתוב בחז"ל שבכל דור ודור יש משה רבנו.
כן.
אותו משה הוא ראוי להיות המשיח של הדור אם נזכה. זאת אומרת, if right now we זוכים לגאולה, then right away the Moshe of that generation is revealed. And in every generation throughout all of history, there was a Moshe waiting, ready, that just in case we do tshuva in that generation, he's available. לא יכול להיות שהוא לא שמה באיזה דור מסוים. Okay. How do I find him?
You're here.
How do I find him? I need to be able to look past what makes me feel comfortable. For example, we said before, why is one attracted to somebody? So he finds some recognition. He finds some kindred spirit, and then he wants to follow that specific person. In our generation, people follow multiple people. I like him for this, him for that, him for this. Everybody has their own, like a package of people. Everybody and everybody. The problem is, there's only one. And we said, there's many different shitot le'ofuah today. Not that all of them are wrong, but none of them are right. You understand? What does that mean? It means that they might have a truth that's associated to their way, but it's not the whole truth. There's only one whole truth. There's one that can solve all of your problems. This guy will give you an idea to solve some little problem within all of the problems that you have, but he's never going to be able to solve the whole big picture. He just might be able to get you through something very small, that in the big picture of things, it's not going to solve anything.
Rabbis including?
Rabbis included. What time is it, just so I know? I don't have a watch. 10:30?
Almost 10:30.
We have to move. fast. עוד שנייה, אנחנו מגיעים לזה. עוד שנייה.
זה משהו בלב.
Rabbi Yakov, right now the time flies over once you don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I mean, like it goes faster as soon as you don't pay attention to it.
Right. One of the simanim will just say that for the Olam is Chodesh Elul or Chodesh Tishrei. The whole thing. What do? We blow the shofar in this time. V'aminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdo. It equals exactly shofar. That what of the simanim, in order to reach the Geula, you have to.
I know, I also want to tell
V'aminu b'Hashem u'Moshe Avdo Gimatria shofar. בדיוק. מה הרמז? What is the hint? That you cannot have only half emunah. Just to believe in God itself, it's still going to leave you blind. The idea that we have behind this, there's many rabbis that know the whole Torah, Yeshav Afuch. They know the whole Torah. Ask them a question on the Torah, they can tell you all the psukim by heart, the whole Torah. but there's only one that knows how to put the picture together. A lot of people, they're great Torah geniuses, but they see their perspective of the Torah from their angle only accounts for a small glimpse into the picture. And they know the whole Torah. It's not enough just to know the whole Torah. You have to know how to put the whole picture together. Only one can really see the deep, the farthest. And that one, he can see so far that if you go to the next level, the one right underneath him, he can't see even a percentage of what he can see in distance. Zelo shaveh, even if you take 1,000 geniuses, it doesn't compare to one who can see a further distance, because he can't combine the minds. It's just each person is seeing from his perspective. That's it. So it's one individual versus 1,000 individuals. That one individual, if you're not connected to him, then you're 100% following blindly. And even things that are big dusha, he can lead you astray because he doesn't see the big picture. So Hashem says, Emunah shlema is it talui b'va'aminu b'Hashem u'Moshe Avdo. And we saw in the generation of Moshe Rabbeinu, of all generations, that they went after a guy who didn't see, and they were all nitmenu ba'adama. Chaim sha'ola. What hole the adama swallowed them. The remez of it is adameh. You were imagining. It was just an imagination. So the adama opened and balautam. Chaim sha'ola. And what do they scream? It says in Chazal, they scream, V'ayaminu b'Hashem Shavdo, Torah Moshe Emet. What is the first thing we teach a child? Torah Tzivalanu Moshe, Moshe Kirat Yakov. The first pasuk we teach. Before we teach them Emunah b'Hashem, Torah Tzivalanu Moshe, Moshe Kirat Yakov. You have to be Moshe. First, before Hashem. Pele. Why? Because in order to connect to Hashem, you have to be connected to the eyes. לא, הזהירות שאתה צריך להתקשר למשה ולא לקורח. זה הזהירות. זה לא הסכנה ללכת אחר האדם שהוא משה. אין סכנה בזה.
אבל איך אתה נזהר שלא לעשות עבודה זרה?
לא עבודה זרה, אתה לא עובד אותו. אף אחד לא עובד אותו. אבל אני נשען עליו שהוא ידריך אותי בדרך הנכונה. מה השם מוצא ממני?
איך אתה יודע שהוא...
אני לא יודע מה השם מוצא ממני.
שהוא האחד הנכון.
What's the recipe? The recipe is to want to overcome my ego. You don't have to overcome your ego. You just have to want to overcome your ego. You have to be aware. מתוך שלא לשמה בא לשמה. You have to know that you're not lishma. But Miyad Hashem will send you the truth. A lot of times people have to go through the truth. A lot of people need to go through a lie in order to get to the truth. A lot of people need to go through a lie to get to the truth. The lie is what wakes them up to the truth. To destroy the ego is not a simple task. To even want to begin to destroy the ego. Even a person who does tshuva, he doesn't think that tshuva means my sense of self has to be eliminated. He thinks that I'm still going to be great. He doesn't understand that now you're going to lose your whole dream. Everything you ever imagined has to be crushed. So it's not the simple concept. So where is he led? He's led to the wrong leader. For what reason? Because through the wrong leader you'll see sirachon. You'll smell the garbage, and you're not going to like it. You're not going to attach yourself to it. And our generation, we said in the beginning of the shiur, that our generation wants something else. A different type of tshuva. It's not the regular tshuva that we experienced in the past. So we'll move right now to tshuva. We'll do it fast because we don't have enough time.
Betty.
We said in Munah there's Vayaminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdo. There's two types, two internal and external. In tshuva there's also, has to be, Shalem v'chetzi, has to be tshuva shlema and tshuva lo shlema. What's tshuva lo shlema? So Chazal tell us, very simple, there's two types of tshuva. Chazal tell us, there's tshuva mi'yir'ah, tshuva tata'ah, the lower level of tshuva. And there's tshuva me'ahava, and it's called tshuva ila'ah. What's the difference between the two? What's the difference between the two? So first of all, tshuva tata'ah, tshuva mi'yir'ah, we need to distinguish between a lot of people's conception. Tshuva mi'yir'ah, it's not if you don't do tshuva, you're going to go to Gehenom. That's not tshuva mi'yir'ah. Or I need to use fear as a motivational tool in order to get you to do something. This is called klipat noga. It's not kadosh. Kodesh, you're not allowed to use a menia that comes from klipat noga, even though it's used in chinuch, like the Rambam talks about in chinuch. It can be used, but it shouldn't be used as a tactic lahania to motivate to tshuva. Why? Because it's not going to lead to a proper tshuva. It's not even tshuva mi'yir'ah. It's not even tshuva tata'ah. Tshuva tata'ah is not, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen to you. Ela, what is tshuva mi'yir'ah? What do you think is tshuva mi'yir'ah?
You lose the relationship with Hashem.
Right. The pashtut of tshuva mi'yir'ah is what will happen if you don't do tshuva? And we'll say what is tshuva tata'ah in a second. So you're gonna get more distance from Hashem. That's the reality. You'll become further from Him, and the further you become from Him, that fear of loss, that's tshuva mi'yir'ah. I fear to lose the relationship. That's tshuva mi'yir'ah. That's tshuva tata'ah.
שזה יפה דווקא.
שמה? כן?
מאוד יפה.
כן. אבל tshuva mi'yir'ah, that I try to fear you into doing something, this is mikripat noga. It doesn't have kodesh because Hashem is tov.
כן.
So now we say one more thing. Another concept, tofa, phenomenon that exists within tshuva mi'yir'ah, tshuva me'ahava. What's the difference between the two? So Chazal say, if you do tshuva mi'yir'ah, what happens? So all yours donot, everything you did on purpose, turns into as if you did it by accident. So what happens? So instead of you getting convicted of murder, you get convicted of manslaughter. So it goes from murder to manslaughter. Murder in the first, manslaughter. I'll reduce the time. But you still have avera. Just it was shogeg. I did it by accident. I wasn't intending to do it. That's tshuva mi'yir'ah. So tshuva mi'yir'ah has the power to turn an avera into an avera done on purpose to an avera done by accident, and reduces the penalty. But tshuva me'ahava, what does it say? Zdonot hofchim liot zchuyot, which means if I did avera, it turns into a mitzvah. So that's pele playim in and of itself. How does an evil act become good? Hofech ma lematok. Evil becomes good. Mamash.
No, I'm asking him.
We said in our generation, that tshuva tata'ah is no longer viable. Tshuva, if somebody wants to do tshuva mi'yir'ah, it doesn't work anymore. It's not enough. It's not enough to get you out. Somebody try now. Pashtut, what is tshuva mi'yir'ah?
העלו את הרף של הקבלה?
מה זה?
העלו את הרף של
מה זאת אומרת?
כאילו זה כבר לא מספיק שאתה מפחד לאבד את הקשר עם הקדוש ברוך הוא. העלו את הקריטריונים עכשיו, אתה אומר.
העלו את הקריטריונים. מי העלה את הקריטריונים? הקדוש ברוך הוא לא.
לא, הדור.
הדור העלה את הקריטריונים. למה? So tshuva mi'yir'ah, just pashtut, it's just Hashem asks for you to do something, you have to do it. So the mitzvot, I don't break the mitzvot, I do the mitzvot. Tzivu oti la'asot to. Tshuva mi'yir'ah is that I keep the mitzvot. Or the way that it's said today, it's called liyashel kav. I steered off the way, and I straighten back out, and I soger cheshbon im HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I close the account of the avirot, and I become straight again. That's tshuva mi'ira. But just to do tshuva mi'ira, to start keeping the mitzvot, it's not enough. How do we know that it's not enough? First of all, we said that every memad has chitzoni and has pnimi. To do the mitzvot, what do you think? It's chitzoni or pnimi?
פנימי.
פנימי?
חיצוני.
חיצוני.
חיצוני?
לעשות מצוות זה חיצוני?
למה? עשיית המצוות itself, just to keep the mitzvot, it's just external. It doesn't present the internal. The internal is to be alive.
אבל זה משפיע עליי. זה
לא.
רק
ודאי.
איך אתה משפיע על האינטרנל.
ודאי, גם הפוך.
כן.
גם הפוך וגם קדימה.
לא, אבל בדרך כלל זה מתחיל בחיצוני.
כן, זה מתחיל בחיצוני, אבל זה לאו דווקא נגמר בחיצוני.
בטח שלא.
מה הכוונה שלי? שהוא מתחיל בחיצוני, עוזב את החיצוני, ואז מתחיל להתעסק עם הפנימי, ואז הוא חוזר לחיצוני.
ברור.
יפה.
אז זה אולי מתחיל בחיצוני, אבל זה לא... הוא עוזב את החיצוני גם, באיזשהו שלב. Which means that like he does tshuva and then he starts to keep all the mitzvot, and like she said in the beginning of the shiur, the person wants to לדייק בכל המצוות, and this answers your question, that it's not enough to keep all the mitzvot exactly like Hashem said. That's not tshuva. It's just tshuva mi'ira. So what's tshuva me'ahava שמוחקת את הכל? That doesn't. You don't need to keep the mitzvot for that. You have to keep the mitzvot,
But you have to do it.
but you don't need to know all the mitzvot in order to do tshuva me'ahava. Tshuva me'ahava, what we said in the beginning of the shiur, that people are in chipus. The guy who goes to Odu, the guy who goes after the, what is he looking for? If I come and I tell him, listen, if you don't keep the Torah, you're going to go to Gehenom, what will he tell me?
I'm there.
Huh?
He's there already.
מישהו באהבה? עושה?
לא רוצה לי
No,
כלום.
it doesn't care.
Doesn't care. It doesn't do anything for
Nothing
me.
about it.
But his internal search for something, even though he doesn't know, he's not aware of it, it's Hashem, it's much stronger than just, oh, tell me what I need to do from the morning till the night. It's show me, give me a relationship of ahava with the Creator. So the tshuva of the generation, if I'm now speaking to a lot of people and I'm starting to fear them into keeping the Torah, I don't know who I'm talking to.
Okay, so if you have this connection, so זה נקרא תשובה מלאה?
מה זאת אומרת? כן.
אם יש connection...
מה הכוונה שאמרתי מקודם? The second I make the decision, with who am I making the decision?
עם הקדוש ברוך הוא.
I decide to Hashem, I said that's it, I'm done. לא משחקים עם מה שאני רוצה.
No backdoor.
No back doors. That's a split second decision. It's just, I still want to keep a couple doors open. I still need some time alone. It's like, I could have a relationship with Hashem full, 24, 7 days a week, but I decide that I don't want a relationship for 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's too much for me. אני רוצה קצת זמן לבד. כל עוד שאני עוד רוצה זמן לבד, as long as I still want time alone.
But this is a good start.
What?
Even this.
What's even this?
With the back door.
With the back door. With the back door.
Why is it 20 hours? 20 hours is the drug addict who said, I just want to take one drug a day.
But it's a good
Huh?
start.
זה עדיין שזה נתפס באגו, ואתה עדיין...
זה-
But it's a good start because...
Again, we're not talking about start, we're talking about what the generation needs in order to להתרפות.
Okay, but...
הוא לא מדבר על דברים פיזיים.
Again,
הוא
again.
מדבר על רמה רוחנית.
הבנתי.
I'm gonna say it a different way, maybe we'll understand what I'm trying to say right now. If you want to get out,
I understand.
if you want to get out of the dikaon, there's only one way out, and it's only if it's shalem.
באהבה.
If you don't do it shalem, this generation Hashem dores shlemut. If you don't have tshuva shlema, don't even walk in the door. It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. Reality, it never worked, but it was acceptable to an extent.
כשאתה מדבר שלמה, אתה מתכוון מבחינת שלמות של לשמור את כל המצוות.
זה רק החיצוני. אם עכשיו אני... If right now I had 100% devotion to Hashem, פנימי, without a doubt I will keep all the mitzvot with ease.
אז שאלת...
לא יהיה בעיה לשמור את המצוות.
איך מגיעים לשלמות?
מה הכוונה? זה יהיה כל כך קל לי לשמור את המצוות.
זה עבודה.
זה יהיה הדבר היחיד שאני רוצה לעשות. meaning the מצוות is מובן מאליו.
לדעת שאין עוד.
אבל זה בנייה.
שנייה.
זה בנייה.
כמו שהמשפט שלו.
שנייה, דקה. The mitzvot will be מובן מאליו. It's a byproduct of תשובה שלמה.
אז השאלה
It's not a covet. Wow, now I have to keep all these mitzvot. No, it's automatic. The problem is, why is it so hard for me to keep the mitzvot if I start with the chitzon? Why is it so hard to maintain? Wow, עכשיו צריך את זה, מחר את זה, now this, now this. Why is it so heavy? Because internally, I didn't sacrifice myself on it. It's like we said here, we have a lot of mothers here. So then they have קשיים עם הילדים. קשה לי. למה קשה לי? למה קשה לי? למה קשה לי? כי אני לא מסורה ב100%. מה הכוונה? I don't believe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't believe with all my heart. One second.
זה ההבדל בינינו לבין ניאל.
One second, I want to understand this point because then we'll understand what is Tshuva Shlema. It's the same thing.
What do you mean you don't believe it?
I don't believe that right now, what I'm doing, it meets up to my standards. I'm supposed to be doing something more important. Like they want to jump. Ask me to go and open up a Amuta, tzedakah for the whole world and Baya. But to raise the kids, what does it mean? I gave this example. The Rabbi Medubna, he gave a beautiful example. He went to like a vacation, and he had a bag, his vadot, his luggage. So he gave it to the bellhop, bring it up to my room. And he tries to lift it up, and it's too heavy. Bags and bags. He has bags in every single one, so heavy. So when he gets upstairs, he knocks on the door. He says, "What is this over here? It's so hard. I had to bring it up on the thing. It's too heavy." He says, "It's heavy. It's not my bags." Ma kavana. He says to him, "If it's heavy, it's not my bags. Let me show you." And he picks it up. No problem. I don't feel the heaviness. Why? He said the luggage was filled with diamonds. He wasn't aware that it's filled with diamonds. For him, what it is somebody's bag, and it's very heavy. But the person who has it, he knows that it's all diamonds. So bishvelo, maut kalayin. If you understand that this is yours, right? Another example is like you're carrying 100 pounds in the army. They make you carry 100 pounds. You run up a mountain, and then some guy asks you, "Can you hold a pack of cigarettes?" How much is it weigh?
This is too big.
עזוב אותי, זה לא.
It's too heavy.
זה כבד עליי. אני כבר עמוס. אי אפשר לסחוב עוד חצי ounce. Why is it heavy for him? Because it's not his. If it's mine, it's not heavy. So what does it mean that it's heavy? The kids are heavy. It's not too much for me. זה איזשהו משהו שאני לא מסור לו 100%. אם אני מסור לו, כתוב, if Hashem's mitzvot is an all, אם זה all, then you're not keeping Hashem's mitzvot.
Because אומרים, עבדו את השם בשמחה.
אז כאילו כל היום מסתובב בהרגשה, מה זה קל לי?
כן.
הכל קל לי.
אבל להיות הכל קל לי, מה הכוונה? תשובה שלמה. ברגע שאני עושה תשובה שלמה, and there's no back doors, then everything becomes very easy. And whatever I have in the moment, if I'm a mother and I'm raising kids at this moment,
אז רגע, כל רגע ביום שאני נתקלת באיזשהו קושי, להבין שפה אני צריכה להתגבר על עצמי.
בקלילות.
כן. להגיד, וואי, זה קל.
זה לא...
לא, המצוות
זה לא הדרך.
לא?
אבל להסביר את זה עכשיו זה יהיה טוב. זה להיכנס פנימה ולהבין מה הבעיה, למה כבד לי כאן. זה צריך להגיע לתובנה. Exactly. But how do I overcome it?
And I want to feel good.
They're talking about the ego, so you have to...
I'm just gonna finish it so everybody who wants to go can go. I don't want to hold them.
Nobody wants to hold on.
We said tshuva me'ava. We said tshuva me'ava and tshuva me'ira. What is a? We said
The clothes.
רפואה שלמה ורפואה לא שלמה. מה היא? So this is very easy. חז"ל, we say it all the time. אני מאחל לך שיהיה לך רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף. אז יש פה שני ממדים של רפואה.
אתה בדיוק מברך אותנו?
רפואת הגוף ורפואת הנפש, there's two ממדים of רפואה. The only time that there's real refuah if both of them are together. If there's just one, there's nothing. We'll just move to the concept of Geula, and then whoever wants to can leave. We'll say one more thing. Geula shlema and Geula lo shlema. What it can be. What can be. So we iskanu בהתחלה. יש גאולת הפרט and גאולת הכלל. There's the individual who experiences the Geula, and there's the klal that experiences the Geula. Geulat HaYachid, it's experienced al yedei tshuva. Once a person does tshuva, if he makes it past refuah and he becomes official, he unig'al on the individual level. But immediately when one experiences Geulah on the individual level, what does he want it to be? He wants to be Geulat HaKlal. He wants everybody to experience such a... He wants for his emunah to lishtakef, for his emunah to be seen by all. To heard on the radio, mentioned on the TV, all the world now understands and knows that Hashem emet, Torat Moshe emet. It's called Geulat HaPrat and Geulat HaKlal. And this also matim מאוד לתשובה, תשובה, כלל ופרט, וכלל שהוא צריך לפרט ופרט שהוא צריך לכלל. This concept of tshuva, also there's tshuva, tshuvat HaKlal, tshuvat HaPrat, like we explained earlier. It says in the time of the Galut, Hashem can only experience En la Kadosh Baruch Hu Ela Arba Amot Halacha. That Hashem only can roam the world in 4 amot of an individual who did tshuva. A person who's learning Torah, he's doing tshuva at this specific moment, so Hashem can dwell in his 4 amot. The second he stops, or he stops doing tshuva, boom, he's gone. So how is Hashem present in the world? He's present in the world on the individual level, right now. In order for him to be present, klali, all over the world, so that has to be tshuvat HaKlal. So now we explain. Emunah, v'yaminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdo. Tshuva me'ira, tshuva me'ava. Tshuva me'ava, tshuva me'ira. 2 meimadim. And then we said refuah, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. And then we said Geulah, Geulat HaPrat, Geulat HaKlal. All of these are connected to what? To tshuva. And we said, what was the point of all this? The point of all this is that tshuva, if we try to do tshuva that's only external, tshuva mi'irah, it's not going to hold. It's not what our generation is built for. Why do we need to do tshuva shlema in this generation? And in other generations maybe it wasn't as important. Why?
Okay.
Because this last example I'm going to give to the same tissue will explain to us why. It says, there's a pasuk. The pasuk says, "Az tismach betula b'machol." We said the kesha of the mazal of Elul is betula, and it says, "Az tismach betula b'machol." Az tismach betula b'machol. Like a circle. Yeah. The Baal Shem Tov explains what mapirush, what's the interpretation of this? Is that like we dance,
we celebrate together.
There's a regel echad b'fnim, regel echad b'chutz. One leg in, one leg out. When you dance in a circle, you walk 1 foot in and then 1 foot out. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. How does he explain it? What does it mean? What's the parable? What's the mashal min imshal? is that the leg in means that I'm getting close to Hashem. And the leg out means that I'm mitrachek min Hashem. And history, the only way for it to be complete is that throughout the history of Am Yisrael, we started by putting one leg in, and then there was a time of a leg out, and then there was a time of a leg in, and then there was time of a leg out, and all throughout history. But there was another phenomenon that took place within this history, is that every time we put a foot in, when we took a foot out, we traveled a further distance than we were the previous time. What does it start to create? It starts to create like a spiral. So that, like we explained, Mishana L'Shana, from Pesach to Purim, and then Purim you jump to the next level and then you start again. The same thing is happening through history. And the phenomena is that just like you start to dance, so you start in a small circle and then it starts to grow bigger and bigger. What happens? The distance that we're traveling every time is more. So in the beginning we were very close. We were in the midbar 40 years, and then we started to litrachek, and then we started to litkarev very quickly again, and then we started to litrachek but more distant, and then we started to litkarev, and then Beit HaMikdash Harishon, and then Beit HaMikdash Hashani was quickly built, and then we went away, and we're away almost 2,000 years. Technically.
Now we're gonna come back.
And right now, in this specific generation, we are starting to put the foot back inside.
אבל כאילו כל פעם שאנחנו מתקרבים יותר מדי, נהיה בלגן.
רגע, שנייה. What was the whole dance for? Why in this generation I have to, right now I'm finishing.
No.
Right? Why in this generation the only tshuva that I can do is if it's tshuva me'ahava and not tshuva me'ira. It's not going to help.
Okay.
Why? Because the distance I traveled, it's too far. And there's only one way back if you went too far. It's like a Chazal, they say, like בתפילת כלים, in פרשת מטות מסעי, it says, בדרך שקלקלת, כך צריך לתקן. מה הפירוש? Like if right now I took a plate or a מחבת, a pot, and I put it on the fire, and I ate non-kosher food on it. So how do I mitaken kosher the clean? So I have to bring it to a higher level of heat, but with heat, with fire. And the fire has to surpass the fire, so it polet. כך, כמו שהוא בולעו, כך פולטו. But you have to bring it to the same amount of fire or more in order to get it out.
Okay,
The same thing, if טימאתי משהו במים, אז תיקונו במים. Take hot water. If you did it hot water. If you did cold water. So our generation, we went deep, far. What does it mean to go far? What does it mean to go far?
Get lost.
אולי כבר עברנו את זה שאפשר לתאר
It means
את
to
זה
go.
ככה.
It means to become very, 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 very close to who? To the Yetzer Hara. To go too far means that I went too deep into the evil. I traveled deep into the evil. What's deep into the evil?
Ego.
Chazal say that if a person asa avirot bechom, like he passed on the lavim of the Torah, so the only way that he's going to get back is if he chozar la Torah bechom. What does it mean to chozar la Torah bechom? He goes 100%. In order to combat the fire that was built with my ego, I became so close to my ego, to the Yetzer Hara. The only thing that's going to counter this passion that I have for this, it's not going to be as a Shmo Kama Mitzvot to Kol Beseder. It's not going to help. You have to combat it with the same amount of force. What's the same amount of force? I was with the Yetzer Hara be'ahava. I spent hours and days and months and years fully engaged. I loved every second of it. It was enjoyable. There's only one way out. Otherwise, you don't get out. You have to combat it with the same amount of force. The same amount of force means emunah shlema, tshuva shlema, and it combats it with ahava, tshuva me'ahava, is able to overpower the averot be'ahava. So our generation, it's also the best generation, but it's also the most difficult generation. Because it's all or nothing. זה דור שכולו חייב, או דור שכולו זכאי.
זה לצאת בדיכאון מהשיעורים האלה, זה בעיה.
למה?
אתה מבין כמה עבודה יש לך לעשות.
לא, זה החלטה
זה רק
אחת.
החלטה אחת.
כן, אבל אמרנו שהעבודה להגיע שהזמן הוא העניין הוא באמת split of a second.
הרגע להגיע להחלטה.
הרגע להגיע להחלטה הוא...
זה לוקח זמן.
ארוך.